On August 4th, in Calvine, Scotland, two men took a photograph of an unidentified flying object. The photograph appears to be a genuine, crystal clear image of a triangle UFO with a fighter pilot jet in the background. It appeared that the UFO community finally had the smoking gun piece of evidence that they needed. However, after taking the photo, the men took it to be published and it would vanish for decades. Rumors of it would exist for years until finally, in 2012, one man would come forward with an original negative. In today's episode, we will examine what's became to be known as the Calvine photograph and its interesting history. On August 4th, 1990, two men working as chefs at a hotel in nearby Pitrawley in the Scottish Highlands were off the clock and decided to go on a hike one evening. They hiked and headed toward Calvine. During the walk, the two men spotted a diamond-shaped UFO hovering completely silent in the sky. The frightened men ran into the nearby brush and hid. Minutes later, a fighter jet flew and began circling the UFO. At this point, the men snapped several photos, 6 in total. The men reported the object hovered for around 10 minutes in the sky. After taking the photos, the men hoped to have them published and took them to Scotland's Daily Record newspaper. The picture editor sent them to RAF press officer in Scotland, Craig Lindsay. Lindsay says he sent them to the Ministry of Defence in London. After they viewed them, the Ministry of Defence asked Lindsay to obtain the negatives of the pictures. Lindsay was able to get them from the newspaper and forward them on as requested. For decades, rumors swirled concerning the photographs, and many speculated around their existence. However, the photos and the negatives had disappeared. Then, in modern day, a British investigative journalist began looking into the story and the surrounding photographs. David Clarke spent 13 years researching the photo and discovered that Lindsay had indeed held onto a copy of the last remaining original print. Lindsay believed that someday, someone might inquire about them. In 2022, thanks to Clarke and Lindsay, the photo was finally able to be published and viewed by the general public. However, no special details from the Ministry of Defence was provided. Perhaps one of the biggest questions of these photographs is who the chefs were. They never came forward to claim they shot the photos. In the Ministry of Defence's case file, the information is available, but they have refused to release it due to privacy concerns. It is scheduled to be made public in the year 2072. The Calvine photograph has been analyzed, and there's been no evidence of tampering found. Most experts believe this photo is genuine. Both Clarke and Lindsay believe that it is real, although they tend to think the craft is from the government, not from outer space. Clarke believes the object is man-made and possibly relates to Project Aurora. Aurora was alleged to be a U.S. Air Force program that developed experimental aircraft. Many also believe the program attempted to reverse engineer UFO technology and also develop crafts based on the technology. It should be noted the U.S. government has always denied the program existed. While the Calvine photograph certainly has many believers, it also has many skeptics. Some say the photograph has been examined for tampering and manipulation, but one way it could have been altered is by suspending a small object in the area. For example, a small silver craft could have been hung by an invisible string. Still, this seems unlikely, as many fake UFO photos in the past have attempted to do this, and they all usually have been proceeded to be fake. Some ask why it took so long for Lindsay to come forward. This could certainly be explained by the tolerance for believing UFOs being much higher today, than in the 1990s. Lindsay was also seemingly violating protocols for his job by holding on to the photos and might have feared for his job. Also, we should note that Clark reached out to Lindsay concerning the photos, and it wasn't Lindsay that came forward. There surely doesn't appear to be financial incentive as well. The final questions with this photo concern the men who took them. It's possible they already passed away, or perhaps they are not even aware the photos were finally published. In 2072, we will know their identities, but by then, we will probably know much, much more on the UFO phenomena.